Our world is a tapestry woven with the threads of countless civilizations. We remember the Titans, Rome, Greece, Egypt, their legacies etched into the very foundations of our modern societies. But what of the others? The empires that rose like mountains, casting long shadows across the continents, only to crumble back into the dust of ages. These are the forgotten kingdoms, realms that once held immense power and sophistication. Their stories now whispers carried on the wind. They were the architects of their time, shaping the course of human events in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. Throughout history, great powers have emerged, flourished, and then, inexplicably, vanished. Their disappearance leaves behind a profound silence, a void in our collective memory. These are not mere footnotes in the grand narrative of humanity. They were pivotal actors on the world stage. Their innovations in governance, warfare, art, and trade created ripples that traveled through time, influencing the very empires that would eventually overshadow them. Today, we embark on a journey to rediscover these lost worlds, to piece together the fragments of their existence from the silent ruins they left behind. Join me as we travel across arid highlands, dense jungles, and forgotten coastlines to uncover the stories of 7 remarkable kingdoms lost to time. We will explore the heights of their power and seek to understand the mysteries of their decline. For in their stories, we find not only a fascinating glimpse into our shared past, but also a humbling reminder of the fragility of civilization itself. The search for these ghosts of history begins now, in the silent landscapes that were once the heart of their domains. High in the rugged Armenian highlands, around the 9th century BC, a formidable power began to stir. This was the kingdom of Urartu, a civilization born amidst the stark beauty of volcanic mountains and the vast, shimmering expanse of Lake Van. They were masters of stonework and metal. Their fortresses, like Erebuni and Tushpa, were marvels of engineering, clinging to cliff faces as if extensions of the rock itself. From these unassailable strongholds, the kings of Urartu controlled a vast network of territories, their influence stretching across what is now modern-day Armenia, Turkey, and Iran. Their artisans crafted exquisite bronze works depicting lions, griffins, and divine figures, a testament to a rich and complex culture. Yet for all its might, the story of Urartu ends not with a bang, but with a perplexing silence. By the end of the 6th century BC, this once great kingdom simply dissolves from the historical record. There are no definitive accounts of a final, cataclysmic battle or a devastating plague. Instead, it seems to have been gradually absorbed by its neighbors, the Medes and the Scythians. The great fortresses were abandoned, their halls falling silent, left to the mountain winds. The name Urartu faded, eventually becoming a distant echo, its identity so lost that for centuries its ruins were mistaken for the work of Assyrians or even mythical giants. In the highlands of what is now Ethiopia and Eritrea, another great kingdom rose to prominence, its gaze fixed upon the vital trade routes of the Red Sea. This was the kingdom of Aksum, a cosmopolitan powerhouse that, by the 1st century AD, had become a crucial link between the Roman Empire and ancient India. Its capital, also named Aksum, was a bustling metropolis, its wealth evident in its most extraordinary creations, the great stelae. These were colossal, single-piece granite obelisks, carved to resemble multi-story buildings, soaring towards the heavens as markers for the tombs of its rulers. Aksum was a realm of immense wealth, trading ivory, gold, and exotic spices, its influence reaching far across the African continent and the Arabian Peninsula. Aksum's legacy is also deeply spiritual. In the 4th century, King Ezana converted to Christianity, making Aksum one of the very first Christian states in the world, a faith that endures in the region to this day. For centuries, it thrived, a beacon of power and devotion. But the rise of Islam in the 7th century shifted the currents of trade away from the Red Sea. Isolated and declining, the heart of the kingdom moved deeper into the Ethiopian highlands. The magnificent capital, with its towering stelae, slowly faded from global importance, its exact location becoming a thing of legend, a lost city waiting to be rediscovered by a world that had forgotten its name. Across the Anatolian plateau, a civilization of warriors and diplomats built an empire to rival that of the Egyptian pharaohs. They were the Hittites, and for over 400 years, their kingdom was a dominant force in the late Bronze Age. From their heavily fortified capital, Hattusa, they commanded a vast territory through military prowess and shrewd political maneuvering. They were pioneers of ironworking, giving them a crucial edge on the battlefield, and their light three-man chariots were the most advanced weapon systems of their day. The Hittites were not just conquerors. They were the authors of the earliest known peace treaty in history, the Treaty of Kadesh, signed with Ramesses II of Egypt. Their society was governed by a complex legal code, and their pantheon consisted of 1,000 gods, a testament to the many cultures they absorbed into their empire. But around 1200 BC, this mighty empire collapsed with stunning speed. The magnificent city of Hattusa was violently destroyed and burned, never to be reoccupied. The reasons are still debated by scholars. A perfect storm of internal strife, crop failure, and the arrival of mysterious invaders known as the Sea Peoples is often cited. Whatever the cause, the Hittite Empire disintegrated, its language was lost, and its people scattered, their very existence forgotten for over 3,000 years until archaeologists uncovered the ruins of their lost capital. On the Korean peninsula, 3 rival kingdoms vied for supremacy for centuries. But it was the smallest and most isolated of these, Silla, located in the southeastern corner, that would ultimately prevail. Through a masterful blend of diplomacy and military alliance with Tang China, Silla conquered its neighbors, Baekje and Goguryeo, in the 7th century. This marked the beginning of the unified Silla period, which was honestly the first time the peninsula had been brought under a single native ruler. For over 200 years, Silla presided over a golden age of Korean culture, a time of remarkable stability and artistic achievement. Its capital, Seorabeol, modern Gyeongju, was, one of the great metropolises of the ancient world. The city was a center of Buddhist learning, filled with magnificent temples, palaces, and royal tombs. The burial mounds of Silla's kings have yielded breathtaking treasures, intricate gold crowns, glass from the distant Mediterranean, and jewelry of astonishing craftsmanship. This was a kingdom of refinement and international connection. However, by the 9th century, the central government began to weaken. Power struggles among the nobility fractured the kingdom, leading to a period of civil war. In 935, the last king of Silla peacefully surrendered to the newly emerging Goryeo dynasty, the very name from which Korea is derived. The Silla kingdom was absorbed, its identity and capital city fading into the legacy of its successor. South of Egypt, along the fertile banks of the Nile in what is now Sudan, lay a land the Egyptians called Nubia. It was the home of the Kingdom of Kush, a civilization with a long and complex relationship with its northern neighbor. For centuries, Kush was dominated by Egypt, its resources of gold, ivory, and ebony exploited by the pharaohs. But as Egypt's new kingdom weakened, the balance of power began to shift. Around 744 BC, the Kushite king Pious did the unthinkable. He marched north, conquering Egypt and establishing the 25th dynasty. For nearly a century, the Black Pharaohs of Kush ruled over the combined realms of Egypt and Nubia. They saw themselves not as foreign conquerors, but as restorers of traditional Egyptian values, building and repairing temples throughout the Nile Valley. Their own capital, Napata, and later Meroe, became vibrant centers of a unique culture that blended Egyptian and sub-Saharan African influences. Meroe is famed for its steep-sided pyramids, a distinct style for the tombs of its rulers, and for developing its own script, which remains largely undeciphered to this day. The kingdom thrived for 1,000 years, but its eventual decline was brought on by the loss of trade routes to the Roman Empire and environmental degradation. By the 4th century AD, the kingdom of Kush had fragmented and vanished, its story overshadowed by the Colossus of Egypt. In the 2nd millennium BC, a mysterious and powerful kingdom emerged, nestled between the great empires of the Hittites in the west and the Babylonians and Assyrians in the east. This was the kingdom of Mitanni, a state whose influence was felt across the entire Near East. Ruled by an Indo-Aryan warrior elite, the Hurrian-speaking population of Mitanni became renowned for their mastery of horse-drawn chariots, a technology that made them a formidable military power. For a time, they were equals with the pharaohs of Egypt, exchanging letters, gifts, and royal brides in a complex dance of international diplomacy known as the Amarna Letters. They controlled vital trade routes and exerted influence over a vast territory in what is now northern Syria and Iraq. Yet the kingdom of Mitanni is a ghost in the historical record. We know of its power primarily through the archives of its neighbors. No great collection of its own texts has ever been found, and even the location of its capital city, Washukani, remains one of archaeology's most enduring mysteries. Squeezed between the expanding Hittite and Assyrian empires, Mitanni was eventually crushed and absorbed by the early 13th century BC. It vanished so completely that it left behind almost no monumental architecture, its story preserved only in the letters of its rivals. While empires were being forged on land, a different kind of power was taking shape on the waters of Southeast Asia. From the 7th century AD, the maritime empire of Srivijaya rose to dominate the region. Its heartland is believed to have been on the island of Sumatra in modern-day Indonesia, perfectly positioned to control the Strait of Malacca and the Sunda Strait, the vital arteries of the maritime Silk Road, connecting China to India and the Middle East. Srivijaya was a thalassocracy, an empire of the sea. It did not rule through vast territorial conquest, but through naval supremacy and control of a network of bustling port cities. Its wealth, derived from taxes on passing trade, was immense. Srivijaya was also a major center for Mahayana Buddhism, attracting pilgrims and scholars from across Asia. The Chinese monk Yijing wrote of over 1,000 Buddhist scholars residing in its capital. But like the Mitanni, Srivijaya is a phantom empire. It left behind very few physical remains and no grand ruins. Its capital has never been definitively located, perhaps because it was a city built on water, with houses on rafts and stilts, as one account describes. Its power waned due to piracy, changing trade routes, and attacks from rival kingdoms. By the 13th century, this once great maritime empire had dissolved into the sea from which it came, its memory surviving only in the fragmented records of foreign travelers. The stories of Urartu, Aksum, Silla, and the others are more than just curious tales from a distant past. They are potent reminders of a fundamental truth, that nothing built by human hands is permanent. The grandest cities, the most powerful armies, and the most extensive empires can and do fade away. They are reclaimed by the jungle, buried by the sand, or simply absorbed into the next chapter of history, their names and deeds forgotten by the generations that follow. What we see as the unshakable bedrock of our own world is, in the grand sweep of time, merely a fleeting moment. These lost kingdoms challenge our perception of history. They reveal that the narrative we know is incomplete, a story told only by the victors or the survivors. For every Rome, there is a Mitanni. For every Greece, a Srivijaya. The past is a far richer and more complex place than we often imagine, filled with countless societies that reached incredible heights before their time was over. Their silent ruins and scattered artifacts are not just relics, they are invitations to question, to explore, and to wonder about the immense, unseen portions of our human story that are still waiting to be discovered beneath our feet. And so, the search continues. Archaeologists, historians, and explorers dedicate their lives to listening for these faint echoes from the past. Each fragment of pottery, each deciphered word, each uncovered foundation stone brings one of these ghosts a little more clearly into focus. They remind us that civilization is a fragile creation and that the greatest treasure we can unearth is the understanding of those who came before us, and the humility to know that we, too, will one day be a distant memory for a future world to find.